All right, and my mic's not working, so we're gonna go without it.
Whoa.
Okay, is this
Your
working?
chair's not working.
Oh, my chair's not working. So I'm gonna stand, because that's not working. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, all right. This is live.
Your mic was on, it's just not loud enough? Or
Okay, well, yeah, sorry about that. Technical difficulties, go ahead.
the batteries?
Oh, batteries, okay. All right, so we are recording, so if you could,
Test.
yeah, I'll go ahead and have you take the microphone. I'll just talk loud for now, and then we'll,
Talk on
Is
this one,
yours?
hand it to me.
oh no, you just go, it's easier for you to have it. Yeah, that'll be better,
It's very
okay?
noisy.
That's okay. All right, okay, so technical difficulties, as always, that's what happens when you do things live. Live, and you have equipment failures, and yeah, okay. So Ask a Filmmaker podcast was created to basically fulfill part of my mission, which is edification of others with positive encouragement to show them what's possible. Especially with filmmakers, though, what I learned through all the years that I've been doing this is that filmmakers sometimes do not always have that advocate behind them or somebody to help promote them and, just really encourage them in their process along the way with their finished product. So I started this podcast so we could do that. So Ann and I have actually worked together on a lot of different things. Other film festivals, talked about what's happening in the industry. We've done a lot of things for the community education-wise. So she was supposed to be my next podcast when COVID hit. Henceforth why she was brought back so she could be the first podcast guest on the relaunch of Ask a Filmmaker podcast. And she actually has a film that was in the festival, and it was a music video. So I'm just going to have you go ahead and do a quick introduction and talk a little bit about that, and then I'll ask you a couple other questions. Is that okay?
That's okay.
All right.
My name is Ann Cabano. Thank you for that introduction. I did have a music video in the fest. The primary work I do is documentary filmmaking. Social issues are my focus, so pretty much 95% of everything I do is socially conscious, the hard conversations. I like to have the hard conversations because my philosophy, my mission, if you will, is about teaching people about other human beings and our path of humanity so that we can be a more connected and compassionate world. And you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
And the video was called Freedom. Can you talk a little bit about the video?
I can. So the video is called Freedom. Tania is the singer, and she hired me to edit the video, and she had collaborated with a rapper named Day Love, and this project was created through the State Department. It was sponsored by the State Department and American Music Abroad to celebrate 2021 Pride. So it's a music video that celebrates the LGBTQ plus community, and we're all part of the community, everyone involved in the
Music video, so.
Uh-oh. That's not it. You're not done.
I'm done talking into this mic though.
Yes, you are. Okay, so guess what? Now you're going to yell. So that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, whoa.
Oh, okay. Second chair down. All right.
I'm gonna stand.
This is a good podcast already. We've had 3 incidents already, so. That's what it means when you come back from the pandemic.
Welcome back.
All right, so I'm going to ask you now, since you've talked a little bit about the video, what directors have influenced you along your filmmaking journey?
I always struggle so much with this question. It's so funny. I was just having a conversation about this. For me, any type of human interest story, not so much politically based, but human emotion based, anything that has to do with trauma, PTSD, these types of things. I don't have a specific, it's me. I'm my own influence, I guess. Not
That's
because I'm
amazing.
so full of myself, but just because I had I just felt like I had a lot to say on these subjects, and that's really how I got into filmmaking to begin with.
No, I mean, I think what I love most about that is that you're your own influencer. And a lot of times I think people they think they need to be always looking up to somebody. But really, at the end of the day, when you're a creator, you're creating. It's your creation. It's your meaning that you're putting into your project. So that would be my next question, is for the messaging in a lot of the films that you do, is there a common theme that you go for, which I know you've talked a lot about throughout kind of the day that we've had conversation, but is there like one specific message that you're trying to thread through everything, or is it just the message related to that one project you're doing at the time?
I would say that the message that threads throughout everything I do is that it's okay to be human. It's okay to be real. It's okay that we have emotions, and it's okay that we go through trauma, and it's okay that we express that trauma, because there's, mental health really is the common thread for me. It's like being mentally healthy and mental wellness, and that really comes from my background, because I was a holistic instructor at a college in Tempe for almost 11 years, and that has really, really informed who I am as a filmmaker. That's my voice, if you will, is coming from a mind, body, spirit background.
Okay. Last question. How have you dealt with or overcome like disappointment and frustration in your journey?
In general, or in
I would
filmmaking?
say whatever comes to your mind first.
How, well, I guess it is all sort of intertwined. Mm-hmm. How have I come over disappointment, or for me, I just believe that we're all here for a purpose. Mm-hmm. And regardless of what is thrown at me, I am obnoxiously self-aware, and I mean that. But that's also benefited me in overcoming a lot of adversity, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that have happened in my life. And so if I didn't do that self-work and then preach self-work, then that's how I get to hope. And hope is the thing. The hope is the thing that keeps you going. So that's my answer to that question.
All right. Well, give Anne a round of applause.
Thank you.
So much for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so
Good
much.
luck. Good luck
All right,
with
yeah.
everything.
So amidst the technical difficulties, I'm going to call up the next filmmaker, Mike Boland. And you can sit or stand.
I'm just going to move this thing if you don't
Okay,
mind.
perfect. Let's just do that. Let's just get these out of the way then. All right, so yeah, so let me just check camera and see where you're at position-wise, and if you're good, you're perfect.
All right.
So this is good. All right, so,
Hey,
hey, I'm here with Mike Boland, who is here from Connecticut.
that's right.
All right, and he has a film, and I keep saying, Yo, Adrian, and I know that's not what it is. It's Yo, Andrea.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
so he has a film, and that's playing today.
It played this morning.
Oh, played
yeah.
this morning.
That's
Okay.
right.
So first, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then talk about your film.
All right, sure. First of all, I'm glad I didn't break the chair, because when I was watching it, I said, if I sit in that thing, it's going to break. And then Ann broke it, so I'm off the hook.
Yeah, I mean it was like 1, 2. So yeah, okay.
Well, let's see. I'm a professional actor, a longtime actor, and a writer. And I started writing screenplays because I could see that my shelf life as an actor was going to run out sooner or later.
Yeah.
So I was never I was never really the first choice for any parts. So I really had to start creating my own stuff, because I figured if I wrote it, there's a much better chance I would get the part.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's what I do.
Oh, that's amazing. So I did get a sneak peek at your film, because I knew I was going to be working here, so you were kind enough to share it with me. And I really loved it.
Thank
So
you.
tell about the premise of the film, and then a little bit of the backstory, if you're open to sharing that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Yo, Andrea is about a guy, Tommy Hogan, who was a football hero in high school, who suffered a brain injury in the big game, and he's had a 35-year crush on the girl from high school that he dated. And now they're adults and they're in their 50s, and he's still thinking about her every day and hoping that she's going to come back. and he's when she comes back, he's ready for her. Of course, he's not ready for her. And there's a big party in town. It's the town's centennial birthday celebration, and Andrea's back in town. And of course, this forces him to confront this 35-year waiting for the girl of his dreams. And it's I think anybody who's ever, like been in love understands, like, is this going to happen for me, or when's it going to happen, or is this the right person for me? And Tommy's dealing with that very awkwardly and very humorously, I think, in my movie. And as far as like where it came from, I was doing a play in New Haven, Connecticut about 4.5 years ago. And one of the guys in the cast was a former Golden Gloves boxer. And I used to be a boxer myself. And we started talking about it. And then he said, why don't you come to my gym and work out? And I said, no, I'm done with that. And he said, no, really. He said, all you have to do is get used to getting hit again. And I'm like, I'd rather not do that. But then I started thinking as a writer, I said, what would it take for me to actually choose to go into the ring and get hit again? And I came up with the idea that I'd have to be in love, and I'd have to be trying to impress someone with my courage or my character. And so I gave that quality to my character, Tommy. And then I just started writing, and it turned into this this beautiful little story, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the things that when I saw that, I wanted more.
Yeah.
So, and I knew there was more. So that's why I was like, all right, so you have to turn this into something else now.
Well,
and I need you to finish that.
Well, fortunately, the story started as a feature script, and I wrote that. I started writing that when I was working on that theater gig in New Haven, and it took me probably 6 months to write well, actually not 6 months, but it took me a while to write the first draft, and then I just had started. I've been tuning it for the last 4.5 years, and of course, it's really difficult unless you are, you have a lot of wealth in your family. It's very difficult to shoot a feature-length film. I had all the actor friends, and I had a buddy of mine who I shot a web series with, and we were all gonna do it, but then people kept saying, listen, why don't you wait until you actually get enough money to do it, because the story is too much fun to waste it, and you're only gonna do it once. So I joined a writing workshop in New York City with an Oscar-winning screenwriter as the guy who runs the group. And I brought in this scene from Yo Andrea. This is basically what you see in this festival is my favorite scene in the movie. And I shaped it to be like a short film, but I didn't shape it too much. I basically pulled it out of the script. I gave it a little more of an end, a little more of a beginning. And then I asked this actress in my group if she'd be willing to read it with me in class that night. And everybody went nuts. I mean, these are like career writers and directors and stuff and the Oscar-winning guy, his name is Bobby Moresco. He runs the group, and he said, I have one note for you, just shoot it. And so I asked the actress who was working with me, Tanya Cornelise, if I could fly her in from LA, and a month later, we were at a little Irish club in East Haven that I begged of the people to let me use, and we shot this film in one day. And then my editor put it together over a course of several weeks. We wrote some original music, and it was really beautiful. So we started submitting to festivals, including this one, and we won our first two festivals we won. I mean, I just think love stories work, man. People that saw it say, you're not breaking any new ground with this, but you did it really well. And like you can make a birthday cake. It's like I've had birthday cakes every year for 58 years, but if you do it really well, I'm gonna like it. And that's what I think of as this. It's got a little more humor than you might think.
Right. Okay, let's not give that away.
But it worked again today. It always works. And whenever we do a screening, I try to sit amongst people and I wait for this one line where Tommy just says, that's a really good plan. And everybody always laughs. And it just makes me really happy.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm so excited. So obviously, they won't get to see it at this festival again, but make sure you stay connected with us. Let us know what's happening. I would say, tell us where you're connected or how we can get connected to you, but I'm going to share all that information with the podcast and everything, so you don't have to worry about that right now.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, so go ahead and come on. Okay. And then your name is what?
Manasi.
Manasi. Okay, Manasi. And then I'll let you do your introduction. Okay. So, Go ahead and speak because since the mics aren't working.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I'm going to have you elevate it up just a little bit. Okay.
Hi.
All right, so we are here with Manasi,
Yes.
and you have a film in the festival. So I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself and what the film is, and then we'll go into some questions.
So, as you all know, I'm Manasi. My film is Taken for Granted. It is playing tonight at 9:15 p.m. It is about a teenage girl from a village called Herat in Afghanistan, which is by the border of Iran and Afghanistan. And she's traveling to Kabul with her dad to take part in a robotics competition. And when they are in the market of Kabul, she gets separated from her dad when the Taliban attack. So the whole story is about what happens when she's separated from her dad and how does she overcome the situation. It's a 13-minute film. I hope you guys can catch it and enjoy it.
Okay, yeah. So, because I don't have like a lot of the history of that film, is this like the first one that you've done, or are there others that you've done? Tell us a little bit about your
Yes.
background.
So I came to this country when I was 19, and I went to an art school, majored in film. Right after that, I had a lot of trouble figuring out the immigration stuff, visas, and all that kind of jazz. So I kind of ended up working for KCET. Visas expired, had to go back to India, worked on a Bollywood film for a year, came back, and within 2 months, I got hired on Avatar.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
I
That's
worked-
that I would have never guessed. So thank you for sharing that. Now that changes my questions.
So, I mean, as you know, big film and big platform. So I got hired for 5 weeks, and then it ended up being a 2.5-year gig.
Okay.
I was there all the way till the end, till the DVDs came out.
Wow.
And then after that, I kept getting hired on one film to the next. And then I know that, again, my visas are expiring. And right then, we found out that I'm expecting. So I had to take a break from working in the film business. I raised my 2 children. They're now 6 and 9. So I felt like they're old enough that they can go to school and I can get back to my filmmaking.
Awesome.
So-
I love this. This is amazing right here, what I'm hearing.
So during the time I was raising them, I kept at my writing. And when my daughter was about 3 years old, I decided that I'm going to make this short. And that's how it started. I kept writing. I shot the film in 2019. And then it was into post-production, and then the pandemic hit.
Right, yeah.
Most of the post-production was being done in India, so and they were shut down for 5 months.
Wow.
So I basically had nothing to do, and I ran out of money. So then I started another side business. I started making resin art. I gathered all the money, and then I finished the film, and now it's out in the festivals.
Oh, wow. This is a great story. So, wow, I have so many questions now. Okay, so where did you travel from for here? Or where are you
I'm
based
from
out of?
LA.
You're from LA.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so, because I knew you're traveling back and forth, so obviously
Yes.
you have family and home still in India then.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
okay.
my husband and my family, they're all in India. I don't have anyone here in this country. It's just me and my
wow.
husband. And
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
wow. So so for me, just hearing the journey is so exciting, but then the whole thing about Avatar, you had to slip that in. And I'm like, wow, okay. So with Avatar, since you were from when you got hired for 2.5 years all the way to DVD release, what is like your most memorable experience with that?
So, like I said, when I was hired, they only told me that I'm hired only for 5 weeks. I was an assistant to an assistant VFX coordinator. And then after 5 weeks, they offered me more time. And I was like, okay, the only way I can stick around here is if I can get into those reviews. Because James Cameron was directing everything in the reviews. As you all know, it was
Right.
like a highly VFX-based
Right.
movie. So my VFX producer said, sure. So immediately, it was just me, him, one editor, my VFX producer, and that's it. And my job was
Wow.
just to type up everything that came out of his mouth. So
Wow.
I kind of got like training from him, like
That's-
indirectly,
okay,
but
that is that's a great story. My gosh, I mean, I'm like sitting here and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So yeah, no, definitely lead with that, and you're going to have everybody hooked for a long time with that one. Every single time. We were just talking about what you hook everybody with. Just say Avatar, and then that's it. You're in for everything.
I'll remember
So.
that.
Well, thank you so much. I'll share your contact information, obviously, because I think people are going to have more questions.
Thank you.
But I appreciate you stopping by, and give her a big round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, yeah, come on. All right, I'm gonna check cameras and everything really quick.
Is this not working yet?
Huh?
This is not working.
Oh, yeah, it's not working yet, so you're gonna have to yell. All right, go ahead and say your name really quick.
Veronica Narang.
Okay, you'll have to say it louder.
Veronica Narang.
Okay.
Is that loud? Everybody can hear
Still
me?
louder. You'll have to
Veron-
match me.
Okay.
See if you can match me.
All right.
All right, so we are here with Veronica Narang, and she has done a film, Disappear, and when is it showing?
It's showing tomorrow, tonight. It's showing tonight. Today is Saturday, yeah. Tonight at 10:22 p.m. Theater 11, I believe.
All right, tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the film.
Yeah, so Disappear is a suspense thriller, and it kind of I'll just tell about it and then how it came about. But it's about, I play Andy in it, and she's in a abusive relationship, and so she runs off after her boyfriend is abusive to her brother and wife's house, and she stays with them, and she gets together with her college friends, and then there's a twist that she doesn't know about. So I'll stop right there.
Okay, yeah, so she's encouraging you now to go see her film tonight. So
Yeah.
that's
it's
very good. You're baiting.
Yeah.
I love this.
It's
Okay.
about a 10-minute film, little less than, yeah.
All right, so so what motivated you to do that film and start? Because you're also an actor as well.
Right. So I knew I wanted to get into SAG, right? And so it was a little slow here in Arizona. So there was a SAG union rep that there was a meeting that I attended, and she kind of that was pretty much the bait. I'm like, all right, this is my in. And so right around the time when I wanted to do the film, I ended up breaking my leg, and so it was a little bit more difficult for me to play certain parts. So I kind of worked around that. So I ended up writing it, producing it, directing it, and I had a SAG actress in it. So that was pretty much my in. So I don't like to sit around and wait for stuff to get handed to me. I just go
right,
for it.
Exactly. I mean, and that's a good point, right? You could have said, "Oh, I broke my leg. I can't do anything. What am I supposed to do?" And no, what did you do? You made a short film. You produced it, directed it, and did all that,
Yeah.
and you started it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had a lot of success, I've seen, in the
Oh, yeah.
festivals around. So talk about how that feels,
Oh,
having a
gosh.
film out there that's just getting, kind of all
Yeah.
accolades everywhere.
Right, yeah. So this is my first film, technically, and I had no idea that it was gonna get this much recognition, I guess. The first festival that I sent it in to, I think it was in the UK, Liftoff. And so it did really well there. And then after that, it was just a snowball, and they started noticing it on Film Freeway. And I think it's won 6 awards and finalists another 6, and I'm not quite sure now. I've kind of lost count. Right? But it's amazing. And I just love it. I'm happy that people are liking it. And I'm working on another film, which is in post. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, and so obviously, so not only behind the camera, in front of the camera, and around the camera, you're modeling, you're doing a lot of other things. So I know you are very busy, but you're making it happen, and I'm so proud of you for that, because I've known Veronica for a while, so so it's very exciting to see my friends' success when they're doing good things. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having
And I'll
us.
definitely share your contact information with the video, so everybody will know how to find you.
Sounds
So,
good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right. have checked everything, so.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to start off with a little song and dance that I rehearsed when I
Oh,
was reading.
awesome. I love this. This is perfect. All right. I'm going to have you probably speak a little.
I know, my voice doesn't carry. Can
Oh,
you
no,
hear me if I
actually,
speak like this?
That was perfect. Like when you
Thi-
said that, I know.
good.
Yes, that was
Okay,
perfect.
good, okay.
Okay. All right. So I am here with Andrea, correct?
Correct.
With your film, This is Jessica.
Correct.
So give us a little intro on yourself and then tell us about your film.
Okay, my name's Andrea Meyerson. My film is playing here in this theater right after this event at 3:30, so you don't have to go anywhere. It's called
Perfect plug.
It's called This is Jessica. It is my 12th feature documentary, and we released it in we premiered it in Los Angeles at Outfest in August, and we won the Audience Award, and we've been touring the film festival circuit with it, and we've also won six awards with it. So
Very
yay.
good. Yay.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of it. It's should I talk about what it's
Yeah,
about?
you can
Okay.
talk about whatever you
Well,
want.
it's
I'll
about-
ask you a few questions, but go ahead.
Anyway, it's short synopsis is it's about a woman who grew up in a very conservative Mormon family in Utah, and she was assigned male at birth and tried to come out to her mom as a girl at 13. And of course, that is a very oppressive religion, and you're really not allowed to be that different. You're supposed to stay in the body you were born in and maintain a truth to that gender for eternity. And she tried to do that, and she she was a missionary, she joined the military, she got married, she had kids, and when it got to a point in her life where it was life or death, if she couldn't live as her true authentic self, she decided to transition and come out to her family and work and all of that. So it's her story, and it sounds really heavy, but there is a lot of levity, and it's uplifting, and the purpose is to save lives. The LGBTQ youth has the highest rate of suicide in Utah and in that religion than anywhere else.
Wow.
So we're hoping to save some lives with it.
Yeah, so the message with that, what is it? What is your message that you're putting out in that?
Yeah, so all my films are about people, and it's about people that do pretty amazing things, and also social impact. The message is she through her story and through finding happiness on the other side of it, we're just hoping that the right people see it, parents and family and anybody who deals with loved ones who are different than what we refer to as the norm. You know, who gets to say what the norm really is. So the norm should be to live your true authentic self.
Yes, and I think our festival tries to represent that, and I know that has to be why you were selected and brought here, because, I mean, that's what a lot of our films are about, is that being your authentic self and really doing something that may be going against what everybody thinks is normal. But what are your influences in what you've been doing and how you filmed? And
My influences, well, I got into filmmaking. I made my first documentary in 2002. It was released in 2003, and it became a little bit of a cult classic in the lesbian community. I didn't know it. My goal with that film, I've been producing live events for a very, very long time, live productions and stage productions with famous and not so famous people. And I made my first film when Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres came out, and everybody thought the whole world thought they were the only two lesbian comics, but I had been producing lesbian comics for a very long time. So my first film was to pay tribute to who I consider the pioneers of being out lesbian comics, who are just as funny, just as talented, but just never reached that level of fame because they were out day one on the stage. They picked up the mic and said their name and came out as a lesbian. So, we're talking in the 80s and 90s, not so easy to, things are changing a bit. They need to change more. So that, and I just made that. I never went to film school. So one of my influences that I love, although the genre is never anything I would tackle, is Quentin Tarantino, because I love when he says, I had a certain amount of money. I could go to film school or I could make a film. I decided to make a film. Right. And that was my story. And then, of course, I love Michael Moore because he kind of put documentaries on the map for us and made them more mainstream. So are they my influence? I'm just glad they're out there because they did inspire me to just go for it, you know.
That's
and now I've done
fantastic.
12 feature documentaries.
I know, and that was one of the things I was going to come back to is like 12 feature documentaries. That's a lot,
I know.
like
Two
over the
narratives.
course of time. So, so for a young filmmaker, maybe somebody in the audience is just
I
starting
thought you were
out.
referring to me.
Oh,
Why, thank you very
I'm sorry.
much.
You're experienced. I'm not going to call you vintage. You're experienced, okay? So
You call me old. I am old.
but to the newbies, okay, let's say newbies, people that are just getting into it, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a starting filmmaker?
Do it. Follow your heart. Follow your bliss. Follow your vision. And every day you're working on it every day, and it is hard, and you will get beat up, and you will get a lot of no's. But never stop visualizing it on this screen. Never. Because that's what I did when I was making my first one. It was so hard. I wound up in the hospital. It was a very stressful thing. But every day when I was working on it, I used to go to sleep seeing it on the big screen. And when we had our world premiere, it was, there's a 1,400 seat theater in San Francisco called the Castro Theater. It's a historical theater, 1,400 seats. We arrived and there's this long line around the block. I'm like, what's going on there? And they go, they're here to see your film. 1,400 seats sold out on the world premiere of my first movie. And I won. Yeah, I know.
I think that deserves applause.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so I was like, and then, you know, you get the bug, and then I started making the second movie, and it took me years to make the second one. But then I had some interest, you know, so I was able to start shopping it and earlier on to try to get completion funds. And yeah, and I've been lucky enough to get a lot of them broadcasted on cable networks, both in the States and in Canada. So
No, I mean, it's very exciting to hear always about the journey of filmmakers, especially one that is experienced.
and old.
Yeah, I'm not going to say you're old because, you know, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm in my 30s for 30 years, so, you know, that's how I roll. So from, I guess, for what's next then?
I'm already in production on another film, and I have 2 more slated where I'm actually meeting. You know, I'm hoping to get those. All people, just know, like, my interest is people and getting into who they are and what is their legacy in this world. And it's always people that have a story. You know, I don't. You know, you do a film about a trans person, and everybody who's trans calls you and says, you know, I'm trans too. And like, her story, Jessica's story, is not so much about being trans, but it's about being different in a society that doesn't allow you to be. And how do you find yourself? How do you navigate through that? So it's just a bigger story. It happens to be she is trans, but, you know, I really just think of her as a woman. And she even says that in the film. Listen, I've spent my whole life being transgender. I'm finally a woman. Like, I want to just be a woman. And so those are the stories I look for, the ones that have that kind of impact, the people that who I consider heroes and sheroes, and make some difference in the world.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you being here. And you traveled from where?
Los Angeles, California.
From Los Angeles. So, all right, another person from out of town. We appreciate you coming to the festival.
Thank you for having me.
No,
Please come. It's at 3:30 here.
Okay, all right.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Okay, so I didn't have any other filmmakers that had come forward. Are there any other filmmakers that would like to get interviewed? Yes, come down. I think we have a little bit more time. Who's watching clock for me? 2:35. When do we need to be done? 2:35?
I'm not sure.
Oh, can you check?
Right now.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I don't run over because they were like, hurry up, get started. And I'm like, I think we're good. You know. Okay, and what is your name?
Shelby Elwood.
Oh, you're Shelby Elwood.
I
with,
am.
let me see. Don't tell me. I know what film. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. It's the one with Michael Harrelson. This is what I know. Okay, so hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna check you in camera. Make sure you're good. Okay. And then I think you're gonna be good for volume, but I'm gonna have you slide just
Okay.
a little bit over here.
Over?
Yeah,
Sure.
just a little bit because I want to make sure we can
Okay.
hear you. Okay, go ahead and say your name.
Hi, I'm Shelby Elwood.
Oh, you're
I'm
perfect.
the founder
Perfect.
of Cobrainy Media.
Excellent.
Live currently live in Scottsdale. Spent a lot of years in Memphis, Tennessee, and actually honed my craft there. My film is Write What You Know. It's an adaptation of a short story by a writer in Alabama. And the story is a very prolific author who lives his adventures. And he plans an adventure that's darker than anything he's ever done before. Thus, he writes what he knows, and now he's going to know something he's never experienced before. So it is a dark thriller. It is currently being developed into a feature film. And I shot this during the shutdown. I was supposed to be in Canada filming a feature. And of course, nobody went to Canada in first quarter of or second quarter of 2020. So what are we going to do? We're sitting here on our thumbs.
Right.
I did a couple of short proof of concept films, and this was one of them. It's only got 3 characters. We did it with like 5 people, so it was very very COVID friendly. And as it turned out, it got some love immediately from some name actors. I'm not allowed to release at this time because we're still in development with it, but we've got talent signed on, and I'm excited about that because the full story it feels like a Coen Brothers movie. It has those very very character driven, nobody in the film is a good person, and nobody in our film's a good person tonight. And Michael is a wonderful bad guy. If you know him,
he is.
if you know him, you love him. But Michael is our best bad guy ever. So please come see us. We are tonight at 10:15 in the Dark Hearts block in Theater 11.
Did somebody have a question? I saw a hand go up. Oh, okay. I was like, I saw that, and I'm like, hey, all right, ask questions. All right, so how many other films have you done?
25 or 30.
Okay, I knew it was like quite a long list of them. So what are your favorites? What are some of your favorites?
You know, everything I do is what I love. I only
love that.
I go down a path and then I go down another path. I have a lot of interest, so I do a lot of films that follow my interests. I am currently in development with a documentary. I love documentaries. They're the easy stories to tell because the story's in front of you.
Right.
I'm in a development with a documentary about a dentist in Alabama that uses therapy dogs in her practice. And also I'm producing a film for a Navajo filmmaker in Tucson.
Oh, wow.
So staying busy with my going forward, and then we hope to come back to the film that we're not able to shoot, which is an indigenous detective.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
Arizona
that's
lends itself to some great indigenous stories.
Yes, I 100% believe that because, we are full of that in our culture and our history, and there should absolutely be more. But I am going to stop you for 1 second because you know what? I'm totally distracted by your jewelry.
Oh, thank you.
Like she dressed well in our last one. We talked about look your best. You look fantastic, and I love your jewelry. I'm going to be talking to you later about where you got that.
Thank you very much. I will be happy to talk to you.
Yes, because I'm like, I want that. Like, I lost an earring and I don't have the other one, so now I need that.
So tonight in Theater 11 at 10:15.
All right, and then I'll make sure I put your contact information so everybody can find you, and especially 25 films. Come on, she deserves a round of applause for that. So come on, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other filmmakers? I thought I saw one more hand. Okay. Yes. Would you like to be interviewed?
Why not?
Why not? That is the right answer. Come on down.
I came all the way from New York, so.
Yes, then you absolutely have to be interviewed if you're here from New York.
But I'm here with my husband as a musician, and I basically produced and directed, but it's not here right now because
Okay,
it's
no, and that's fine.
but-
That's totally
yeah.
fine. We have a few more minutes, so that's why I was like, let's just take advantage of it right now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you step back just a tiny little bit. No, this
This
this way, right there. Okay,
Can
and
you hear
then
me with the mask?
I would say if you took your mask off, that way it'll pick up on the mic, and then
Okay.
I'll stand over here, so that way we're good. All right, so go ahead and say your name and introduce yourself and what projects that you've worked on.
Okay, so my name is Sara Pettinella. I'm originally from Italy. I moved to the US 10 years ago.
Okay.
Celebrated my 10 years in the US in the lockdown
Oh, wow.
on a project.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a photographer. I started as a photographer, became a filmmaker, and I support myself producing promotional videos for musicians and filming live music in New York, mainly jazz. And produced and directed a music documentary about the origins of jazz between the US and Ghana, Africa. And then my husband is a jazz musician. He's just in a different room, but he wrote this beautiful piece and called Point of View. I don't know if someone who saw it today was showed earlier today, but you watched it.
All right.
And it's really free, like jazz is. So it's really about watching it. It should encourage people to feel free about looking at things from different perspective and be free about that and who they are, and like sometimes jazz music can be really in the moment. And unfortunately the amazing animator that animated it and drew and gave a huge contribution creating a lot of scenes out of her imagination is not here, Kristen, but maybe she's going to see this video.
Oh, nice. Yes.
And yeah, so
No, that's great. So, what brought you here to the festival? I mean, obviously, with having something in it, yes. But what is the motivation? Because you said you're here from New York, right?
yes.
Yes.
And so I thought, once we had this this project, this video, the desire is to show it and for more people, and also to see and have an exchange and see if our message went through, and so I have established conversation with other people and filmmakers, and this was we're mainly women in this project because the director, producer, and animator, and the bass player on the piece is Linda Ho, who's an amazing bass player. She's also in this Disney, featured in the Disney movie. So I thought it was perfect, the perfect place.
It is.
And being in a state, I've been here 10 years in this country, but I haven't been able to visit. It's such a big country with a lot of, and so I thought it was
Perfect timing. Good weather, at least
I
decent
visited
weather.
the Grand Canyon
Yeah.
just before coming
Okay,
here.
perfect.
And I'm going to LA to see a friend who's also in
awesome.
a film, and so.
Yeah, no, this is great. No, I think I always applaud filmmakers that travel, to festivals when it's possible, because it's not easy. And a lot of times, a lot of times when you go to festivals or get into them, you can't always make it because of scheduling or whatever. But when you can, and like ours is definitely designed to be in person. I know there were a lot of them that went virtual and people did that, but
we're in a
we
virtual one.
really like the in-person stuff, so we can have these candid conversations. Arizona's a big music state as well. There's tons of music here, so hopefully.
We saw the music videos
Yes,
yesterday.
the music videos are great, but there's music all over, and so
We
that's
heard,
so that's one of the nice things that hopefully you'll get to enjoy that and everything. And we'll reach out to you for your contact info, and we'll include it in the video. So
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
We'll watch it, but you can watch it online.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, a quick question. What was the name of the video, the movie? Points of View. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So are there any other filmmakers? John, can you come down here? I know you're not an actual filmmaker. I know, that's okay. Do you know what time our end time is?
We got a hard cut at 3:15.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're gonna get an interview now. So I know John as an actor in many films. So why don't you go through like some of your most favorite recent films that you've been in,
Okay.
and just talk about what they are and where they've been and things like that.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Great news. I just had a feature film released on DVD about a month ago.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now about
What
a
was
week,
the film though? You didn't say it.
The film is Phornix, Arizona.
Okay.
It's about a struggling actor of sorts. And another good piece of news. It was just released on video on demand last week.
Oh,
so,
congratulations.
Yeah, so real
so
excited
don't
about
forget
that.
to say the name of the film because that's how we find you, right? That's
Exactly.
How, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we're excited about that. That was about 2 years in the making.
Okay.
We had a very extremely low budget. So it took us a while.
Yeah.
And we finally finished everything about 2 months ago, so we're really excited about that. This past weekend, we just filmed a funny comedic short for the A3F, which is
Oh,
the
nice, yes.
Almost Famous Film Festival. And I just got the email that they're going to have the screening on March 5th at the Children's Museum of Phoenix here.
Oh,
So
awesome. That is so
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And I know John is kind of a staple of the community because you are always around. He's attending events, but he's participating and working with community all the time on filmmaking. And so it's always a pleasure to have you. And he's actually the volunteer for this segment. So give him a round of applause for helping
Thank
my
you,
mic
thank you.
situation over here. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And then I guess what are you working on next since you've already got all those things done? What's
Gosh,
your next?
I got so much in the pipeline. We're going to see how Phornix, Arizona does, how it's received. It's been received very well. We're thinking of continuing on as a series, about 40-minute episodes of about 8 episodes. So we're
That's
kind
great.
of excited about that.
Yeah, that's like a good solid series. Then.
Yeah, so we're excited.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good. Well, thank you so much for taking a few
Oh,
minutes.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great. And I already have who I'm going to bring up next. So, Olivia, yes, you. Oh. Yes. I know. Her name is changed for brand representation purposes.
I have a booming voice, so I'm gonna probably.
Okay,
Do
yeah.
you think you can still hear me?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've talked before,
Yeah.
so I think she's good. So, this is Roxanne Ruane.
Yep.
And actually, she was one of the stars in one of my comedy films that I released in 2020 called The Nail Tech Chronicle. And it was so amazing. She does excellent improv work. I've worked with her, oh gosh, how many years have we known each other?
A long time.
Many,
Yeah,
many
several
years.
years, yeah.
From the filmmaking side and acting side and just every side of supporting the industry. But this year, she is extra special because she is a brand representative for the Worldwide Women Film Festival. So talk about what this year's been like, you know, coming around to the festival, and then what else should we be looking forward to for the rest of the festival?
Well, okay, so as far as the outfit, if you are out there, you'll see some posters for our film festival this year. And one of our board of directors, Joy Bazanis, she's the person who created that poster. And there's actually an interesting story as to why she did, because it's in honor of the two African-American women who were Academy Award winners and for makeup and hair. And so that's what the poster represents. And I think that's a great thing that
It is.
the Worldwide Women's Film Festival does, is that it honors people in all, you know, whether they're a filmmaker, whether they're, you know, behind the scenes or in front of the camera. And the fact that you know, the festival, I keep saying you because she's the co-founder, but this year she's stepped back and so that she could have her film in. And but what is great is that I saw the poster and I thought, oh gosh, that's a fabulous dress. And I just decided to make it. And I didn't ask anybody on the board. I kind of warned them that I was kind of thinking about
Working
it.
on something.
And I was nervous about doing it, but they embraced it. And so what I represent, as you said, is the brand of Worldwide Women's Film Festival. I am every woman, okay? I'm not Roxanne right now. I'm Olivia. They did name her. I'm Olivia, and I represent every woman in the entertainment, in the film industry, in the Worldwide Women's Film Festival. And I think it's a great representation because you have the film, and there are just so many different films. Even though the Worldwide Women's Film Festival is a festival that, you know, has the word woman in it, we definitely accept films from anyone. And as far as winning an award, one of the key creatives of the film needs to be a woman, whether it's the director or it's a actor even. The main actor.
Behind the scenes, in front of the camera, as
Right.
long as there is a prominent woman in a major role, that was
Right.
really the criteria, because we didn't want it to be so exclusive.
Right.
We wanted to actually be very inclusive
Yes.
across all
But
different
but
ways,
what is
yeah.
great about this festival is because it is the women's film festival, we bring to light a lot of the struggles that women have. Our the film festival's original film for the last night was called Strong Female Lead, and it came in from Australia. And it was a fabulous film. I did sit in the back and watched it, and people were so affected by this film, they were
Yes.
yelling at the TV screen,
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
film thing. Because it was such an amazing, like, you cannot believe that basically what that film was about is about the Australian Prime Minister, first female, and she was in office for 3 years.
Yep.
And what the opposing party said, it was just what they called ugly Australia. And, they ousted her 3 years later, but they did things like, she's got a big butt, she's got a big nose. All this stuff that you would never say to a man. And this is not about man hating. This is natural. The entire film is based on footage that exists, on real things that happen, and it's a disgrace. And when you think about it happening in 2013, we're not even 10 years later, and women are still struggling. So that's what I love about this film festival, is that it showcases women without putting men down.
Yes.
So it's very inclusive. So I think that the festival, the fact that we went through and had the festival despite the pandemic, and that you all showed up, we're so appreciative that you all showed up. I just think that, 5 years, coming next year will be 5 years.
5-year anniversary.
We'll have to do something real special
I
for
think
that.
so, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm just grateful that they welcomed me and that I can play in their sandbox.
Yay. Well, thank you so much. I
Thank
so
you.
appreciate you being part of this and being willing to come up here. And I want to thank everybody for being in the audience. And I know we didn't have a lot of time for external questions because we were kind of rolling through it. We had timelines for some of the filmmakers. But this podcast, this is the relaunch. So this is officially kicking off the new season for Ask a Filmmaker. I already have a lot of interviews that are already lined up of individuals that couldn't be here, but then I already have a schedule, so that's going to be coming, and usually we release one video a month just to keep it real, so that way, scheduling wise, I don't get behind. But yeah, so we'll have new episodes coming, and then this will be a special feature for the festival as soon as I get it edited and put together. But thank you so much for being here. And I have business cards for anybody that wants to get it, so they can just go straight to the website. And if you're interested in being interviewed, from a film perspective, if you're involved in film, even if you're not the filmmaker, please just take a card, and then you can check out the channel and all of that. So, okay.
And I'm here to take pictures with you. Sorry,
Oh,
so
no,
I
that's
forgot
fine.
to
You
say
can-
it. So
you can
please
totally
meet
do
me at
that.
the
out at the
Step and Repeat.
Yeah, the step and repeat.
and we'll get some pictures taken.
All
Thank you,
right,
Ava.
Thank you. I'm gonna hug you. Oh, thank you. All right. So yes, so we're concluded with the workshop because I gotta obviously tear down a whole bunch of stuff. So thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.